Debt doesn't have to define your future. Right now, millions of people are trapped under the weight of loans, credit cards, and overdue bills. If you're one of them, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not your debt. Debt is something you have, not something you are. But debt feels personal. It's not just numbers on a statement. It's the late-night stress. It's the knot in your stomach when the phone rings. It's the embarrassment when you can't say yes to an invitation because your bank account says no. I know that pain is real, and I know it can feel like there's no way out. Here's the hope. People just like you have broken free from even the heaviest debt loads. Some owed $10,000. Some owed $50,000. Some owed more than $100,000. And they all started with the same realization. Debt doesn't define me, but I have to take control. If they can do it, so can you. So in this series, we're going to walk step by step through a process. We'll explore how debt works. We'll learn how to attack it strategically. We'll build the discipline that lasts. And we'll talk about how to stay free for life. This isn't theory. It's a practical guide to rewriting your financial story. Let's start with mindset. Because before you can change your balance sheet, you have to change your beliefs. Most people carry shame about money. Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you overspent. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe you got hit with medical bills. Or maybe nobody ever taught you how money works. Whatever the reason, shame keeps you stuck. And the first step is letting that shame go. Think of debt like a hole in the ground. If you fell into it, you wouldn't sit there saying, "I'm so stupid for falling in." You'd grab a rope. You'd climb out. And you'd learn to watch your step next time. Debt works the same way. Beating yourself up doesn't get you out. Action does. I want you to imagine two futures. In the first, you keep making minimum payments. You keep avoiding the statements. You keep pretending it's normal. In 10 years, you're still in debt. More stress. Less freedom. Fewer options. In the second future, you take control now. You face it. You work a plan. You sacrifice. And in a few years, you're free. No chains, no stress, just choice. Which future will you fight for? Here's the hard truth. The system is designed to keep you stuck. Credit card companies love when you pay the minimum, because it keeps you on the hook for decades. Lenders love when you refinance without changing your habits, because it keeps the payments flowing. If you don't get intentional, you'll stay a customer, not a free person. But here's the good news. Once you understand the system, you can beat it. You don't have to play by their rules. You can flip the script. You can stop giving away your future to interest payments. And you can start building wealth for yourself. So before we dive into strategies, I want you to say this to yourself. My debt does not define me. My choices today will create my tomorrow. Say it again. Believe it. Because that mindset will carry you when things get hard. And yes, there will be hard days. But freedom is worth it. Story example. Let me tell you about Mark. He was 38. He was drowning in $42,000 of credit card and personal loan debt. Every month, the payments ate up half his paycheck. He felt like a failure. He felt like he'd never catch up. But one day, he drew a line in the sand. He made a budget. He sold his second car. He picked up a side job. And he attacked his smallest debt first. Slowly but surely, he gained momentum. 4 years later, he was debt-free. Mark didn't win because he made 6 figures. He won because he changed his mindset and stuck to a plan. And that's what I want for you. Not just a quick fix. Not just a tip or a hack. But a total transformation. A new identity. Someone who is in control, not controlled. Someone who uses money as a tool, not a trap. Someone who's building a future, not borrowing from it. Here's our roadmap. In Section 2, we'll break down exactly how debt works. Good debt versus bad debt. The hidden dangers of interest. And the real cost of ignoring it. In Section 3, we'll explore strategies to escape. snowball versus avalanche, negotiating rates, and smart refinancing. In Section 4, we'll dig into building discipline, the habits that separate success from failure. And finally, in Section 5, we'll talk about how to stay debt-free for life and use your new freedom to build wealth. This is more than just a video. It's a lifeline. If you've been carrying debt for years, this could be the turning point. If you're ready to fight, if you're ready to believe again, then stick with me. Your freedom starts now.
Before we talk about how to escape debt, we need to understand what it really is. Most people think of debt as just money they owe. But debt is much more than that. Debt is a transfer of your future time and energy into someone else's pocket. It's the promise that your work tomorrow will pay for the choices you made yesterday. Let's start with a basic truth. Not all debt is created equal. There's something called good debt. Good debt is usually tied to something that grows in value or generates income. Examples: a reasonable mortgage on a home, a student loan for a career that increases your earning potential, a business loan that funds growth. Now, good debt still carries risk. If you borrow too much, even a home or a degree can crush you. But at least the goal is growth, not waste. Then, there's bad debt. Bad debt is debt that drains you without building anything in return. Credit cards are the biggest culprit. Personal loans, payday loans, and buy now pay later schemes also fall into this trap. Bad debt promises convenience in the moment, but steals freedom in the future. Let's talk about why credit cards, in particular, are so dangerous. Credit cards combine three toxic ingredients: ease, interest, and emotion. They're easy to swipe, which makes overspending effortless. They charge sky-high interest rates, often 18% to 25%, and they tap into your emotions. That little swipe feels painless, until the bill shows up. Now here's the kicker. If you carry a balance, your purchases cost far more than you realize. A $1,000 purchase at 20% interest, with minimum payments, can take over 5 years to pay off. And by the time you're done, you've spent more than $2,000. That's the hidden cost of bad debt. The system counts on you not doing the math. Now let's go deeper. Every debt has something called an interest rate. Interest is the price of borrowing money. When you borrow, you're renting money from the lender. But unlike renting an apartment, the longer you rent, the more expensive it gets. This is because of something called compounding. Compounding is usually your friend when you're investing. But in debt, compounding works against you. It means the longer you carry a balance, the more interest piles on top of interest. That's why debt feels like quicksand. You think you're making progress, but the balance barely moves. Here's another hidden cost: fees, late fees, overdraft fees, annual fees, balance transfer fees. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And when you add it all together, it's no wonder people feel stuck. But there's one cost of debt people almost never talk about: the psychological cost. Debt drains your energy. It steals your focus. It creates decision fatigue, because every financial choice feels heavier when debt is hanging over you. And worst of all, it convinces you that freedom is impossible. That's why understanding debt is about more than numbers. It's about breaking the lie that debt is normal and permanent. Let me share a quick story. Sarah was 29. She had a stable job, but also $28,000 in credit card debt. She wasn't lazy, she wasn't irresponsible, she just got caught in the trap of, "I'll pay it off later." But later never came. Every time she made a minimum payment, the balance barely moved. She felt defeated. When we sat down and mapped it out, she realized she was paying almost $500 a month just in interest. That's $6,000 a year going straight into the bank's pocket. That realization was her turning point. Because once you see the true cost, you can't unsee it. Debt isn't just about owing money. Debt is about giving away your freedom, month after month, year after year. And that's why you have to attack it. You can't wish it away. You can't ignore it. You can't just manage it forever. You have to face it head on. So here's what we've learned in this section. Debt comes in different forms, some useful, some dangerous. Credit cards and high-interest loans are the worst traps. Interest and fees make balances grow faster than most people can pay them down. And the psychological cost can be just as heavy as the financial one. But here's the empowering truth. Once you understand how debt really works, you take away its power. You can stop being a passive victim of compounding interest. you can start becoming an active fighter for your financial future. In Section 3, we're going to talk about strategies to escape. We'll compare the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. We'll talk about negotiating lower rates, and we'll explore when consolidation makes sense, and when it's a trap. Because knowledge is power, but action is freedom.
Now that you understand how debt works, it's time to learn how to escape it. This is where strategy comes in. And the right strategy can make the difference between staying stuck for decades and being free in just a few years. There are two proven approaches to paying off debt: the snowball method and the avalanche method. Let's start with the debt snowball. With the snowball method, you list all your debts from smallest balance to largest. You keep paying the minimums on everything, but you throw every extra dollar you can at the smallest debt first. Once that first debt is gone, you roll the payment you were making into the next one. Like a snowball rolling downhill, your payments grow bigger and bigger. The benefit of the snowball method is psychological momentum. You get quick wins. You see debts disappearing. You feel progress, and that motivates you to keep going. Now, let's look at the avalanche method. With the avalanche, you list all your debts by interest rate from highest to lowest. You keep paying the minimums on everything, but you attack the debt with the highest interest rate first. This saves you the most money over time, because you kill off the most expensive debt first. The avalanche is mathematically efficient, but it can feel slower, because high-interest debts aren't always the smallest. So which method is best? The answer depends on you. If you need motivation and quick wins, choose the snowball. If you're disciplined and focused on saving money, choose the avalanche. Some people even use a hybrid approach. Start with the snowball for momentum, then switch to the avalanche once you're fired up. The important thing is to choose one and stick with it, because any focused plan beats doing nothing. Now let's talk about another tool: negotiating your interest rates. Most people don't realize this, but you can actually call your credit card company and ask for a lower rate. Sometimes all it takes is explaining your situation and asking for help. If you've been a customer for years, they may reduce your rate just to keep you. Other times, you can transfer your balance to a card with a promotional 0% APR. That gives you a window of time to pay it down faster without interest piling up. But beware, balance transfers often come with fees, and if you don't change your habits, you'll just rack up new debt on the old card. Use this tool wisely. Next, let's look at debt consolidation. Consolidation means combining multiple debts into one loan, ideally with a lower interest rate. This can make payments simpler and save you money. But there's a danger. If you consolidate without fixing the root problem, overspending, you'll just end up with new balances on the old cards, and now you'll have double the debt. So consolidation should only be used as part of a bigger plan, not as a shortcut. Another option is refinancing. For example, refinancing a car loan or mortgage into a lower interest rate can free up money you can use to attack other debts. But again, the key is discipline. If you free up $200 a month, don't spend it on new stuff. Use it to crush your balances faster. Here's a secret most people don't know. You can often negotiate with medical providers too. If you have medical debt, call and ask about financial assistance programs. Many hospitals will reduce or forgive part of the bill if you ask. And if you can pay a lump sum, you can often negotiate a lower settlement. Now let's put this all together in an example. Imagine you have 4 debts: a $500 credit card at 20%, a $3,000 personal loan at 12%, a $7,000 credit card at 25%, and a $10,000 car loan at 8%. If you use the snowball, you attack the $500 card first, pay it off, then roll that payment into the $3,000 loan, then the $7,000 card, then the car loan. You build momentum, and debts vanish one by one. If you use the avalanche, you attack the $7,000 card first, because it has the highest interest. You save the most money on interest, even though it takes longer to see the first balance disappear. Both methods work, as long as you stay focused. But whichever strategy you choose, Here's the most important part. You must commit to never adding new debt while you're paying off the old. If you keep swiping while you're trying to pay down balances, you're bailing water while drilling new holes in the boat. It doesn't work. You have to draw a line in the sand. No new debt. From now on, if you can't pay cash, you can't afford it. That's the mindset shift that makes these strategies powerful. Because paying off debt isn't just about math, it's about behavior. And the behavior change starts with saying, I'm done living this way. So let's recap what we've covered. The snowball builds momentum with quick wins. The avalanche saves money with math efficiency. Negotiating rates and balanced transfers can accelerate your progress. Consolidation and refinancing can be useful, but only if you stay disciplined. And the number one rule, stop adding new debt. In Section 4, we'll dive into building discipline for the journey. We'll talk about automating payments, cutting hidden expenses, and creating new income streams dedicated to debt payoff. Because strategy will get you started, but discipline will get you across the finish line.
Strategy is the map, but discipline is the vehicle that gets you to freedom. Without discipline, even the best plan falls apart. Discipline means creating systems that make progress automatic. So let's start with the most powerful tool, automation. When you automate your payments, you remove willpower from the equation. Instead of wondering, should I make that extra payment this month? It happens automatically. Set up autopay for minimums on all debts so you never miss one. Then, set up automatic extra payments on the debt you're targeting. Even if it's just $50 or $100 a month, consistency beats randomness. Because $100 extra every month is $200 a year. And that $200 can knock months, even years, off your payoff timeline. Next, let's talk about expense tracking. Most people think they know where their money goes, but when they actually track it, they're shocked. The daily coffee, the streaming subscriptions, the gym membership you never use, the fast food runs, they add up. A simple budget app can reveal hundreds of dollars a month slipping through your fingers. And here's the truth. You don't need to cut everything. But you do need to cut the things that don't matter to you. Spend on what you value. Cut ruthlessly on what you don't. Because every dollar you save is a soldier in your army against debt. Now, let's talk about lifestyle swaps. Instead of eating out 3 times a week, try cooking at home twice and only eating out once. Instead of a $100 cable package, switch to a $15 streaming service. Instead of buying a new car, drive your current one a few more years. These swaps may feel small, but they can save you thousands. And remember, this isn't forever. It's a season of sacrifice for a lifetime of freedom. Here's another powerful tool, the side hustle. Cutting expenses frees up money, but creating new income can supercharge your debt payoff. Think of it this way. Every extra dollar you earn is a bonus bullet against your balances. Deliver groceries, drive for rideshare, sell digital products online, freelance your skills, teach, tutor, or coach. The opportunities are endless, and the best part? You can dedicate 100% of your side hustle income to debt payoff. That way, your regular paycheck covers your life, and your side hustle crushes your debt. Even an extra $500 a month can cut years off your timeline. Now, here's a discipline most people overlook: tracking your progress visually. Numbers on a spreadsheet feel abstract, but a progress chart on your wall? A jar you fill with marbles for every $100 paid off? A thermometer chart that rises as your balances drop? Those visuals turn your journey into something tangible, and tangible progress fuels motivation. Because debt payoff isn't just about numbers, it's about hope. It's about seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and visuals keep that light burning bright. But what about setbacks? Because let's be real, life happens. The car breaks down, the water heater explodes, the medical bill arrives. This is why discipline also means preparing for the unexpected. Even while paying off debt, build a small emergency fund. $1,000 is a good start. It's not a full safety net, but it keeps small emergencies from dragging you back into credit card debt. Think of it as your shield. Debt payoff is your sword. You need both. Now let's address mindset again. Discipline isn't about punishment, it's about purpose. Every no you say today is a yes you give to your future. No to eating out means yes to faster freedom. No to a new phone means yes to peace of mind. No to a vacation on credit means yes to building wealth later. Your discipline is an investment, and like all investments, the payoff multiplies over time. Here's a real example. Jason and Emily were a young couple with $65,000 in debt. They cut expenses by $800 a month. They picked up side hustles that brought in another $600. That's $400 a month going straight to debt. At first, it felt like a sacrifice. But then, every month, they watched another balance disappear. In 4 years, they were debt-free. And now, that $400 a month they once sent to debt, they send it to investments. Their discipline gave them freedom, and freedom gave them options. So here's the key takeaway. Discipline isn't about restriction. It's about building systems and habits that keep you moving forward even when motivation fades. Automation makes payments effortless. Expense tracking reveals your leaks. Lifestyle swaps create margin. Side hustles add fuel. Visuals keep you motivated. And an emergency fund protects your progress. Put all of this together, and your discipline becomes unstoppable. In Section 5, we'll talk about staying debt-free for life. Because winning once is great, but staying free forever is even better. We'll cover lifestyle inflation, emergency funds at full strength, and using credit wisely for growth, not destruction. Because true discipline isn't just about getting out, it's about staying out. Beating debt once is powerful, but staying debt-free forever, that's the real victory. Because freedom isn't just about reaching zero. It's about never falling back into the trap again. And here's the truth. Many people fight their way out of debt, only to slip right back in. Why? Because they don't change their habits for the long term. But you're not going to make that mistake. Let's talk about the habits that keep you free. The first habit is avoiding lifestyle inflation. What's lifestyle inflation? It's when your expenses rise as your income rises. You get a raise, and suddenly you're driving a nicer car. You land a better job, and suddenly you're living in a bigger house. It feels harmless. But if every dollar of new income goes toward new spending, you'll always feel broke. The solution? Lock in your lifestyle for a while. When your income rises, don't let your expenses rise at the same pace. Instead, channel that extra money into building wealth. Use raises and bonuses to grow savings, investments, or your emergency fund. That's how you create lasting stability. Speaking of emergency funds, let's go deeper. Remember how earlier we talked about a starter fund of $1,000? Once your high-interest debts are gone, it's time to expand. Build an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months' worth of expenses. This is your financial shield. Lose your job? You'll be okay. Unexpected medical bills? Covered. Car breaks down? No panic. Your emergency fund transforms crises into inconveniences, and that is priceless peace of mind. Next, let's talk about credit. Credit isn't evil. It's a tool. But like any tool, it can build or destroy depending on how you use it. Use credit cards like power tools, carefully, intentionally, and with respect. That means paying them off in full every month. That means using them for convenience or rewards, never for survival. That means never carrying a balance on high-interest cards again. Handled wisely, credit can boost your financial life. Handled recklessly, it can bury you again. But you now know better, and you'll never let it bury you again. Another key discipline: accountability. Staying debt-free isn't always easy, but having accountability partners makes it easier. Share your journey with a trusted friend, spouse, or financial coach. Set regular money check-ins. Celebrate progress. Talk about challenges before they spiral. Accountability turns intentions into consistent action. Now let's talk about the future. Debt freedom isn't the finish line. It's the starting line of building wealth. Once you're free, redirect the money you used to send to creditors. Send it to investments. Send it to retirement accounts. Send it to real estate. Send it to businesses. That's how you transform debt payments into wealth-building payments. And over time, those investments grow into true financial independence. Here's a truth that may surprise you. Staying debt-free requires vision. You need to see the life you're building beyond debt. Because if you only focus on what you're avoiding, you'll eventually slip. But if you focus on the freedom, peace, and possibilities you're creating, you'll keep moving forward. So take time to imagine it. The vacations you'll take without stress. The retirement you'll enjoy without fear. The home you'll live in without worry. The opportunities you'll give your children. Debt freedom isn't about restriction. It's about expansion. It's about living more fully because you're no longer chained. So here's the challenge. Don't stop at freedom. Grow beyond it. Because freedom from debt is just step 1. Freedom to build wealth is step 2. And freedom to live generously is step 3. Imagine the impact of not just surviving, but thriving. Imagine the joy of not just paying bills, but helping others. Imagine the peace of not just avoiding debt, but teaching your children how to avoid it too. That's what staying debt-free unlocks. So today, decide that debt freedom isn't just a one-time victory, it's your permanent reality. Because you've done the hard work to get here, and you're going to protect it forever. This is your turning point. This is your legacy. This is your chance to live free and to stay free. So let's lock it in. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Build your full emergency fund. Use credit wisely. Lean on accountability. And redirect debt payments into wealth building. Do this and you won't just escape debt. You'll build a future stronger than you ever imagined. Outro. Freedom from debt is freedom for your future. Subscribe to Smart Money today and start your journey to financial peace now.